See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Not so divisive and angry all the time. But the other part of it is, I don't think it's possible to watch me or meet me and feel like I'm doing any better than you are. Okay, meaning I might have a fancy job title or something, but at the end of the day, I'm just a regular dude, and I prioritize all of these stories through the very limited depth of knowledge that I happen to present, okay, or I happen to possess. I talk a lot about, like, oh, Jimmy's a cab driver, you know, and the reason I'm reminding you of that is, one, you know, it's a good, I guess best way to say it to you is, it's a good way to realize how possible things are in this country, I guess is how I would say it. When you look at it, 5 years ago, you could be driving a taxi, and 5 years later, you could have a TV show and a radio show. I guess it's kind of like inspiring to some people because you're like, wow, if Jimmy Fallon could be doing this, we could probably train our border collie to be hosting a radio show and a TV show. And you probably could. I don't know that I have the intelligence of a border collie. But to take it a step further, it's also just to remind you that I have perspective. I have not, for whatever, you know, might look like success or whatever, I have not changed the lens through which I see these stories. And I bring all of that up because this USAID cut that was announced today comes back to the very basis of how I've talked to you the entire time we've been on the radio. You look at a country like you look at your house, okay? In your house, you have bills due every month. You have X amount of income. You have Y amount of bills. You have things you want to do, things you need to do, things you'd like to do. And maybe you can go ahead and do some of them if there's money left over at the end of the month. That being said, okay, if you are running a house where you're spending more money on the like to do or want to do instead of the what you have to do, you wind up in a really bad situation. Lo and behold, you're not paying your bills. You wind up in massive debt, and it's a tough place to find yourself. But we as a country have found ourselves in that same position, despite the fact that our income as a government is greater than any other government in the world. We've never taken in more money in tax revenue than we do right now, and we've never been in a higher level of debt.
We have people in Washington that don't know what they're doing.
And to that point, this is where the USAID thing is so emblematic of everything that's been wrong with Washington. So we've been having elections under the auspices that whoever we elect is going to go to Washington and enact the agenda that we voted for. But what we're finding through the DOJ, probe of our government's finances is that the unelected bureaucracy has essentially been taking our tax dollars and doing whatever the hell they want with them. The whole adage I keep giving you is, do you work for the government or does the government work for you? The Constitution was drawn up so the government would work for you. Okay, we'd send somebody to Washington and the government would do what we told them to. We don't live in that America. We live in an America that very much thinks you work for the government. Okay, get out there, make some tax dollars, send them into the government. They'll do whatever the hell you want. Oh, they want. Shut up and mind your business. And apparently they were doing a lot more with our tax dollars than we even knew. And when you hear something out of Marco Rubio like, hey, we're cutting 83% of that, I promise you it is addition by subtraction. Trump outlined some of it last week when he was talking about, we spent $8 million for transgender mice, which again, it's just a lot of money. I promise you this. If you look around the web, you can probably get a mouse that's a tranny mouse probably for $1 million, maybe $1 million, $1.5 million. $8 million seems high for a trans mouse. I'm just saying. And lo and behold, the latest reports out today say that it's actually $10 million. $10 million that we spent on that program.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
So when stuff like that starts to get cut, it gives me this good feeling of like, I can only do radio through the lens of what like a family's going through, what an individual is going through and trying to get by, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. And when I start to see the household run better, run more efficiently, it gives me hope for the country, makes me feel better. So I want to talk about this really quick because this is it in a nutshell. You bring in this much money, you send out that much money. Is this ratio sustainable? And as far as our government is concerned, no, it's not. We're $36 trillion in debt. So here is the Marco Rubio post today on Twitter. He said, after a 6-week review, we are officially canceling 83% of the programs at USAID. There were 5,200 contracts that were canceled that would have spent tens of billions of dollars. And in consultation with Congress, we intend for the remaining 18% of programs we are keeping, approximately 1,000 programs, to now be administered more effectively under the State Department. This was Rubio saying so. He also thanked Elon Musk for the tough but necessary work that was done. And they now move the ball forward and they take the DOJ oversight into other areas, like getting the waste, or maybe more importantly, the fraud is what it would be categorized as, out of Medicare and Social Security. Okay, we read reports over the weekend that said during COVID, $312 million in loans were given to children ages 11 and under. Now, can a child age 11 or under run a business? No. So these were probably adults who had their businesses and their kids' names as a means of creating a tax shelter that was defrauding the government. Those are the things DOJ wants to go after. When you talk about Social Security, when you talk about Medicare, what they're specifically going after are people that are dead that are getting benefits, people that are listed at over 100 years old or 150 years old that are getting benefits. You can tell me it's a clerical error that the ages are listed as high as they are, 160-year-old people, 170-year-old people. You can tell me it's an error, but we need to know that these people exist to begin with. It's not about the fake age. It's about the fake person, because the check isn't being sent out to an age. It's being sent out to an address. It's being sent out to a Social Security number. And this is what they're going after. I bring this up because the reporters and a lot of the liberals who are in the way of this type of reform are trying to categorize these cuts as something other than what they are. Meaning they'll say, well, this is because you're a racist or you're a transphobe or you hate, minorities or poor people or whatever. Okay, but the reality is our ability to help people who need our help directly hinges on our ability to help ourselves. So if we're spending things on spending money on unnecessary programs, the Government Accountability Office says we spend about close to $520 billion a year on fraud, meaning money that is spent to programs or people who don't exist. We spend $520 billion of those dollars a year on fraud. Okay, we'd be in a much better fiscal position if you weeded out that fraud. We just would be, straight up. There's no argument. You can't argue against it. Nowhere in the world is there a country that would be better off if only they got ripped off by $500 billion a year.
That's true. That is true.
That ain't better for you, ain't better for me, ain't better for the people who depend on the government, who can't provide for themselves. So when Trump goes in and makes these cuts or gives Elon Musk the opportunity to make these cuts or at least recommend them, okay, the Democrats try to spin it as everything else, because the truth is they were the direct beneficiaries of the fraud, of the wasteful spending. They, as unelected bureaucrats, 95% of whom are liberal, were essentially enacting whatever agenda they wanted to when it came to government spending, no matter who won the office. So we've been spending all this time under the guise that, well, whoever wins the election is kind of going to be in charge for the next 4 years. But as we're having this conversation right now, we've got this bombshell Fox Digital report we're going to get into with Brooke Singman later, that nearly every single executive order Joe Biden signed was by auto pen. Auto pen meaning he didn't sign it himself by hand. Okay, they printed his signature onto executive orders, meaning there's a fairly decent chance he had no idea whether or not he had even signed these executive orders.
I agree with that.
I don't doubt Obama does. Okay, and there's going to be a big investigation into that. The only thing they believe that Biden signed directly by hand was the announcement to drop out of the 2024 presidential race.
I don't remember that ever happening.
But it did. And understand, people are now wondering if he dropped out under duress, if they were running the government without his input when all these executive orders were being signed, and maybe there's even an acceptable answer. Okay, but on paper, we don't have one yet. And again, this speaks more largely to the bigger problem facing Washington, which is unelected bureaucrats doing whatever they want. We essentially elect presidents in their worldview. Okay, and the determining factor between who the president is whether they're going to enact their agenda above board or below board. Meaning in 2016, Trump won the election, but the government spent all 4 years fighting the guy. We just didn't know how hard they were fighting till we uncovered some of these spending programs. Okay, in 2020, Biden wins the election. Okay, so the Democrats are allowed to enact a lot of this stuff, and it seems like he must be in on the deal because these are liberal policies. But lo and behold, we're finding out that not even Joe Biden had a say in what the Democrats were doing in their own party. And it's something you really got to be mindful of, because the people trying to mischaracterize Trump's spending are essentially trying to maintain a status quo way of running our government that's not sustainable. Okay, obviously it's way past constitutional that we're being ruled by invisible bureaucrats in Washington basements that are doing whatever the hell they want. But the bigger problem is, even if they knew what, they had the right to do this, they still don't know what they're doing. Okay, we take in more money in tax revenue than any other country in the world, and we're $36 trillion in debt. So as a guy who launched this show literally in his own house because of COVID, and maybe that is why we see every, story we cover through that lens, you understand the most basic principle imaginable is playing out in real time. It's, are the people running our national house going to make sure the income to outcome ratios adjust, or are we going to allow them to fight and divide us politically so much that we maintain a way of doing business that will run this country into the ground in the next few years? That is the challenge, and that's why the Doge cuts are so essential, and that's why, if nothing else, we should all be applauding them today.
And I'm out here in the real world, and I know what's right or wrong or bullshit.
You're listening to the man with the fashion sense that's all his own.
Looks like a gay bag lady.
This is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
This is WHIO Sean Hannity, Dayton's News and Talk, WHIO.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
When disaster strikes, the food supply is the first domino to fall. It can start quietly, an emergency alert, a breaking news headline. But within hours, reality sets in. People rush to grocery stores, emptying shelves of everything from bread to canned goods. Lines stretch out the door, tempers flare, and desperation takes hold. And no matter who's in charge these days, you simply can't rely on the government to bail you out. That's why having an emergency food supply on hand is the right move for you and your family. Right now, you can get $50 off a 4-week emergency food kit at mypatriotsupply.com. They're an American company trusted by millions, offering 2,000 calories per day with essential vitamins and minerals to keep you strong during a crisis. This food will be there for you when you need it, since it lasts up to 25 years and can ship out to you next day. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now to get $50 off your 4-week emergency food kit. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Colorectal cancer is the leading cancer killer in men under 50 and the second leading cause of cancer death for women under 50. The American College of Radiology urges you to get screened starting at age 45. Now, Medicare and insurance companies are required to cover not only colonoscopy, but less invasive exams like virtual colonoscopy. Talk to your doctor about your options. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org/virtual-CT.
Furnished by American College of Radiology.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, I am Jeff Bardenero, president for KeyBank in Dayton. At KeyBank, we are all about looking out for our fellow neighbors. We understand that as a bank, we have both the ability and the responsibility to help others succeed. Maybe they are looking for that car to buy. Maybe they are trying to tackle their growing debt. Or maybe they simply want to do more with what they have worked so hard for. KeyBank is here to meet them in that moment. KeyBank opens doors.
We've been going to the same Skyline for 11 or 12 years now. When I see that familiar face at the drive-thru, it makes me feel good. Just making that connection, seeing them again. It's like going home. We always make sure that we eat as a family. And on the busier days, hitting the Skyline drive-thru is perfect for that. It's always a good experience. And everybody in the house is happy. We eat Skyline once a week for lunch or dinner. Yeah, sometimes it's 2 times a week. Skyline is definitely my family's favorite restaurant.
How do you gain a good reputation? By consistently doing the best you can and outperforming the competition. Dayton Door Sales has a reputation for the quality of their garage door installation and repair. Of course, quality depends as much on people as materials, and Dayton Door Sales employs only experienced professional installers and technicians. See for yourself why Dayton Door Sales is the region's leader for garage door service and installation at DaytonDoorSales.com. Integrity, value, experience. That's Dayton Door Sales.
Hey, it's Nancy for my friends and family at Square One Salon. The four-corner focus at Square One drives them in everything they do. And the gift of experience is the best gift of all. It always fits, never expires, and is always in demand. From hair, massages, manicures, makeup, to giving back to our community, Square One believes we all have a permanent place as a member in their family. I know I do. Visit SquareOneSalon.com. We are Square One.
Financial advisor, investment advisor, stockbroker, CPA. How do you find the right person to help you plan for retirement? Tune into Expedition Retirement with Greg Ayler. Sundays at 10 a.m. on Dayton's News and Talk, WHIO, 95.7 FM and 1290 a.m.
Hey, it's Nancy for my friends and family at Square One Salon. The four-corner focus at Square One drives them in everything they do. And the gift of experience is the best gift of all. It always fits, never expires, and is always in demand. From hair, massages, manicures, makeup, to giving back to our community, Square One believes we all have a permanent place as a member in their family. I know I do. Visit SquareOneSalon.com. We are Square One.
Tuesday calls for an increase in cloud cover, but otherwise plenty of spring sunshine and temperatures above average with highs in the upper 60s. I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn for W.
Like you've never seen before.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you said that.
We're going to have growth. I'm not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Now, we're going to get fraud out of there. You know, you see where I talk about it all the time. We have people 250 years old and all, you know, tremendous fraud. But that has nothing to do with that. We're going to get the fraud out, and everybody wants us to get the fraud out, and therefore you'll make it better.
Fox Cross America with Jimmy Fallon. That is Donald Trump talking about going after the fraud in Medicare, Medicaid. Democrats, of course, are spinning this as Trump's cutting your Social Security benefits.
Democrats are so full of crap.
And, like, my job is not to sit here and get you mad at Democrats all day, but when you see how cheap basic political opposition has become in terms of they are debating everything but the issue. Okay, USAID, they're spending $9 million on transgender mice. Let's have that debate, because I guarantee you can't defend it. Okay, when we're spending $8 million on the club drug Molly, so we can study the effects the club drug Molly has on transgender owls in the forest, that money doesn't need to be spent. You can't tell me that's necessary at a time when so many Americans are struggling. So what they do is they argue other points, straw man arguments. Well, Elon Musk is unelected, I tell you. That doesn't matter. Okay, cabinet officials are not elected. We vote for a president, and then the president appoints cabinet members. Did any of you get to vote for John Kerry as climate czar? No. And John Kerry spent his time at climate czar, flying around the world in a private jet, telling everybody they needed to reduce their carbon footprint because we were all going to die.
What a fraud.
Major fraud. And you didn't vote for that. Okay, you didn't vote for the climate initiatives that these unelected bureaucrats forced on your life. That's a straw man argument. Oh, these guys have access to our private data. Here's a news flash. Everybody working in that sector of the government under every administration has access to your private data. This is not new. These are straw man arguments. They're not arguing on behalf of what they spent the money on. They're arguing over your right to know. And that's the biggest issue we have right now. When Trump is out there saying, no, we're not cutting Social Security, but if there's dead people getting it, we should all want to cut off those payments. Except the only problem is there seem to be people in the way of doing this who probably have a financial interest in some of those payments.
You have a good eye, my man.
This is WHIO's Brian Kilmeade. Dayton's News and Talk is WHIO.
Please welcome Brian Kilmeade.
Hi, everyone. WHIO's Brian Kilmeade here, and I am coming to Dayton at the Victoria Theater for my show History, Liberty, and Laughs, also with Fox Nation, Saturday, June 21st. So buy your tickets now at DaytonLive.org, and you can upgrade your tickets for a VIP experience where you can meet before the show backstage and take some pictures. All part of the year-long WHIO 90th anniversary celebration. WHIO, AM 1290 and 95.7 FM. Dayton's weather, traffic, and Fox News station.
WHIO, Dayton Springfield, celebrating our 90th year as the Miami Valley's leading news station.
I'm Will Harris. Our top local story. 2 people found dead and 10 others injured Sunday afternoon in a house fire in Cincinnati. Police say at least 3 children were among the 10 injured, many of which jumped from the building to escape, but none were reported to be in critical condition. Fire crews have not yet determined the cause of the fire, and we're now working to learn more about the conditions of those injured. Stocks tumbled on Wall Street Monday on fears of possible recession and tariffs. The Dow Jones Industrials were down 890 points. The S&P down 155 points. The NASDAQ down 727 points. Clear and cool tonight. 70-degree weather likely by late week. Storm Center 7 forecast is coming up. Our next scheduled news in 30 minutes immediately when it breaks. I'm Will Harris on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Tuesday calls for an increase in cloud cover, but otherwise plenty of spring sunshine and temperatures above average with highs in the upper 60s. I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn for WHIO.
This is the Miami Valley's home for Fox News, the most powerful name in news. WHI.
Hey, it's Nancy for my friends and family at Square One Salon. The 4-corner focus at Square One drives them in everything they do. And the gift of experience is the best gift of all. It always fits, never expires, and is always in demand. From hair, massages, manicures, makeup, to giving back to our community, Square One believes we all have a permanent place as a member in their family. I know I do. Visit squareonesalon.com. We are Square One.
The original 5-Star Plumbing Company has been servicing the Miami Valley since 1997. We've been fixing leaks longer than most folks have had access to the internet. Don't be confused with those other wannabes. The original 5-Star Plumbing Company has the tools, the talent, and the trustworthiness to tackle any plumbing challenge. Call the original 5-Star Plumbing Company today at 937-902-6195 or go to 5starplumbingservices.com.
Maximize your tax refund with big savings at Fat Boys. From lift kits to lowering kits, custom wheels or tires, we offer a variety of services to enhance your ride. Call 937-294-2699 to learn more. Financing available.
Open the door to Dayton Door Sales. Family owned and locally loved, Dayton Door Sales is dedicated to giving your home the quality garage doors it deserves. Centered around a superior customer experience, our customers can rest assured that every member of the Dayton Door Sales family is committed to providing high-quality garage door installation and repair services at great prices. To learn more, visit DaytonDoorSales.com. Dayton Door Sales. Integrity, value, experience.
Attention job seekers! KTH Parts Industries is expanding their top-notch automotive manufacturing team. Join the second shift with starting pay at $21.66 per hour. Enjoy competitive pay and benefits while making an impact through innovative work. Ready to take the next step? Visit kth.net today.
Carts and Parts is your home for all things golf car. With 0% financing options available for qualified buyers, you can get that golf car you've always wanted.
Call us today or visit us online at cartsandparts.com. That's cartsandparts.com.
From a 50-year-old male doctor I trained, dated July 7, 2024. Dear Dr. Merkel, I've been on blood pressure meds for 25 years. Within the third day of taking this scheduled supplement program based on blood and other tests you ran, I documented a huge drop in my blood pressure to 138/88 without meds every day. I've been on a supplement program and proper food intake for almost a month. After I cut grass today, I sat down and my blood pressure was 123/81. This was without blood pressure medication. I've noticed my blood pressure staying lower longer as I stay on Dr. Merkel's recommendations. After so many years with high blood pressure and 4 stents, to finally get the true cause of my hypertension is such a relief. Thank you, Dr. Merkel. Signed, Dr. Eric. Maybe there's a safe, simple, natural solution to your problem, too. Call 433-3241 and listen every Saturday, 11 to noon, to Take Two Healthcare right here on WHIO. I'm Dr. Merkel.
If news breaks, we break in anytime. Now, back to America's most powerful talk lineup. This is WHIO.
There it is, Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. Singing the hits. It's Monday. We're in good spirits. You live in the greatest country in the world. I know I said a lot because it's true. Life is a way of denying you perspective. We try to give you some little shot of it every day on this show. We don't have a lot to offer beyond that. You know the story, man. No one's ever copied off me on a test. Just a regular dude who's kind of in on the joke that if you live here, you're doing okay. But one thing I will tell you is there is this war being fought over information, I guess is the best way I can say it, in that politics really comes down to, especially in this day and age, where this social media presence is so omnipotent in our lives, and we consume so much more news than we ever have, that everybody does kind of become a prisoner of the moment in politics nowadays, and that there's so much more concern with making sure they look okay today that they're not mindful of the long-term effects that their strategy might have on them tomorrow. You know, good example I give a lot in the modern era is the Afghan troop withdrawal. So Joe Biden pulled the troops out ahead of the civilians in Afghanistan. Assured us that the country wasn't going to collapse because we had trained their army, and this is not going to be one of those situations where, you know, it's like the fall of Hanoi and you're seeing Americans evacuated off rooftops and helicopters. So don't worry, because it's not going to look like that. Within 48 hours, the government had collapsed and Americans were now being rescued. Those that we were able to rescue. Many of our allies were left behind. The images on TV were iconic. They'll be famous 100 years from now of people clinging to the wheels of cargo jets that were leaving Afghanistan, desperate to flee a country that would now fall back under Taliban rule. Understand this, the end of a 20-year war. A 20-year war that was launched after September 11th to make sure Afghanistan didn't become a breeding ground for terror groups. We go there, spend 20 years, and leave with $85 billion of our weapons behind. And that same terror group we went there to get rid of is now back in charge of that country. I mean,
we really are being laughed at and scoffed at throughout the world. They're not respecting our country the way they used to.
And that was reality. Okay, they were laughing at our country after that because Joe Biden got on TV with a straight face and said it was the most successful airlift in history. I mean, come on.
Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity.
Straight up stupidity. And why did they do that? Because in the moment, the Democrats didn't want to find fault because they were so concerned with being called out for it in the media that lo and behold, everyone found the fault for them. They knew it was a disaster. They saw the images. But because they didn't want to concede defeat in the 24-hour news cycle, Joe Biden, who was above water, his approval rating was positive going into August of 2021. Okay, he came out of August 8 points underwater in the opinion polls and never looked back. No one ever believed a word he said again. And in truth, administrations, specifically presidents, have the ability to admit something went wrong and distance themselves from the strategy by firing the people who were their advisors. Like, that's how a traditional Afghan troop withdrawal, the kind of disaster we saw in real time, played out. Traditionally, a president can distance themselves from the disaster by just firing the advisors, firing the generals, get rid of them. Okay, and then you go, hey, this is unacceptable. This is not something we're going to tolerate ever again. There's no place in the chain of command for that type of advice, for that type of strategy. These guys have been relieved of their duties. We accepted their resignations earlier today. And now you have a little bit of credibility with the voter, with the American people. But when you tell them that their eyes have lied to them, they don't believe you. That's the point. They never believe you, which is why 4 years of the media telling us Joe Biden was sharp as a tack when he was the only guy we know who quit talking in the middle of a sentence because he was finished, okay, meant the media thought they were covering up Biden and Biden's cognitive decline. But as far as the world was concerned,
not even close.
Nobody thought he was okay. Not a single solitary person. You understand, we were living in America 3 years ago. 3 years ago, where NBC said 82% of Americans have a concern about Joe Biden's cognitive state. That was 3 years ago. And even after that type of polling, the media continued to tell us that Joe Biden was completely and totally fine, okay?
If you like Biden so much, name 3 of his complete sentences.
I don't think anybody could. Okay, but you understand, even after that, the media was still talking down to us and being like, no, he's sharp as a tack. How dare you question him?
I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
I mean, come on, man. But I bring that up, why? Because what the Democrats are doing right now at the top of the party, I'm not even talking about political pundits. I'm talking about Hakeem Jeffries, who took over for Nancy Pelosi. Hakeem Jeffries is the minority, leader in the House of Representatives now for the minority party. If the Democrats were to take back the House of Representatives, he would be the House Speaker again, Hakeem Jeffries. Well, he goes on TV yesterday, after we did this weekend and this past week, if you were following this, the Democrats had such a bad week in terms of their strategy, whether it was showing up to the State of the Union with bingo paddles, refusing to clap for anything Trump called out. Women murdered by migrants, nothing. Protecting women's sports, nothing. 13-year-old DJ Daniel battling cancer becomes a Secret Service agent, nothing. An out-and-out disaster. They follow it up with 2 cringy social media videos. One is the Mortal Kombat choose your fighter meme that goes viral for the wrong reasons, with the world over mocking the Democratic Party. The other, a video where 22 Democratic representatives all used the same profanity-laced speech that was clearly being read off a teleprompter because they all delivered the same speech word for word. And they became the party of cringe on a level we'd never witnessed before. The Democrats had such a disastrous week. Understand, they're polling at 21% in popularity. They had such a bad week. I devoted 2 different monologues last week on this radio show, including Friday, to expressing genuine concern on behalf of the country for the state of the Democratic Party. It was that bad. And I mean this. I'm a conservative. I vote Republican pretty much 99% of the time. I'll go item by item in congressional races by me and stuff like that. But understand this. I believe in conservative values for the country. That being said, I believe the country is better off if we have 2 vibrant parties who are duking it out in the arena of ideas. But unfortunately, the Democrats have slipped in such a disastrous way that they're not mounting a serious opposition to anything the Republicans are doing. And that's fine with me right now because I like everything the Republicans are doing. But over the course of time, if you live in anything that's run by one party, there ceases to be any accountability for that party. Because if you're never going to vote in another direction, they don't need to do their jobs any better. They don't need to maintain the roads, the bridges. They don't need to protect your border. They don't need to balance your budget. They don't need to improve on the quality of your kids' education. If they're getting elected no matter what, then the only thing they need to focus on is the special interests that will make their lives profitable.
Money, 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 money.
That is it. Ain't focused on you. They're focused on them. So the point is you need two good, thriving parties to hold each other accountable, for there to be a series of ideological checks and balances at the tippy top of the government. We're in a really dangerous spot right now. And again, if you're a Republican, you can go, wow, this is great. I love all the Trump stuff. I do. But I am able to play the long game. And when you play the long game and you map this out 10 years, 12 years, 16 years from now, if the Democrats are still just making dance videos and telling you boys can have babies, okay, no one on earth is ever going to take them seriously again. And the only reason I'm telling you this portion of the story is because Hakeem Jeffries, a traditional politician, hopped up on that, 24-hour news cycle mentality of we can't admit we're doing anything wrong ever. Hakeem Jeffries went on TV this weekend and claimed with a straight face that the Democrats have Republicans on the run.
He is so full of shit, this guy.
Let me give it to you, because this is a confidence scheme. This is no different than Biden going on TV and saying the Afghan troop withdrawal was the most successful airlift in American history. That was the claim, and everybody watched the speech and was like, wait, what? Like the equivalent of going on TV and being like, oh, no, the Titanic? People love sailing on the Titanic. It's the best cruise in history. Driest, too. It was very dry on the Titanic. People had a nice time. And everybody watching is like, wait, what? He's got the boat wrong? What are we talking about? That's what Biden did with Afghanistan. This is what Hakeem Jeffries is trying to do this week with information. He's trying to convince you the Democrats are confident. They feel good about how this is going. I can assure you they don't. Okay? And this is how we'll start the assurance process. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, if you remember, gave the Democrat rebuttal to Donald Trump's joint address to Congress. Well, here she is now admitting yesterday on Meet the Press that the Democrats are on their heels. They're still finding their footing. The party's a mess. Here she is, to her credit, admitting it. Clip 13.
I don't think it's a secret that Democrats have been on their heels since Trump won the election. Right? I don't think that's something hidden. And I think it's on us to be clear about not only leadership, and there's lots of leaders in both parties, but also a strategy. Right? And I think that's something that as Trump has been successful in flooding the zone and just like every day, 15 things happening, we are still finding our footing. And I think you can't get better until you admit you have a problem. And for me, that's one of the things that I think some of the new voices in the party have really been agitating about, right? New senators, new representatives, new folks who are like, hey, we need to do more, and we need to be showing that we're actually having a plan to stand up on really important moments of inflection.
Okay, so give her that. That is Alyssa Slotkin.
I admire your honesty.
Okay, we're still finding our footing. I don't think you can get better until you admit you have a real problem. Okay, we need a plan to stand up to really important moments of inflection. She's flat out saying, we got nothing right now. We tried bingo paddles. We tried Mortal Kombat videos that were popular on TikTok 3 years ago. No one is the face of this movement. We don't have a core issue that resonates with anybody. No one takes us seriously. But here is Hakeem Jeffries. Back to her whole statement about admitting you have a problem. Hakeem Jeffries going the other route, trying to convince you with a straight face that Democrats have Republicans on the run. Clip 14.
We have the Republicans on the run on three core issues.
That is
they
a
are
lie.
on the run in terms of the economy. In fact, Donald Trump and Republicans are crashing the economy in real time. Donald Trump gave one of the most divisive speeches by a president in American history. 100 minutes. And he barely spent any time on the economy. Why? Because it's collapsing on his watch. They made promises with respect to lowering costs. Costs aren't going down. They're going up. Inflation is going up. You know what's coming down? Donald Trump's poll numbers.
Oh my!
Because he is mismanaging the economy, and the American people are feeling it.
You are so full of shit.
Do you know Donald Trump's poll numbers are the highest they've ever been right now as you listen to this broadcast? Doesn't mean they can't come down. But what he just said to you was a straight confidence scheme. We have the Republicans on the run on the economy? No, they don't. The guy's been in office 6 weeks. No one's blaming Trump for anything going on in the economy. What's happening is the Democrats are finally admitting prices are out of control after telling you this wasn't a real thing, and we all had a messaging problem. During the summer of 2024, during the election, what were the Democrats telling us about the economy?
And we are very proud of Bidenomics. And as today's jobs numbers make clear, Bidenomics is working. Bidenomics. And Bidenomics is working. Trump's economic plans going forward would raise inflation and send us into a recession by 2025.
I mean, that's Kamala Harris. My goodness gracious.
Kamala is so stupid.
Okay, it's working. Bidenomics is working. Look at the job numbers. Bidenomics is working. And the media was right there to echo the sentiments. Now Trump gets elected and the media is like, whoa, what's up with the economy, bro? Have you seen these prices? What's even happening? Not good. But here is more Hakeem Jeffries, clip 14, talking about, and this is a lie, clip 15.
We have them on the run in terms of health care, particularly as it relates to Medicaid. House Democrats stand on the side of Medicaid and the American people. Republicans are trying to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. And we need to keep the pressure on them legislatively and in communities all across the country. We have them on the run.
Oh, man.
And we're going to keep our foot on the gas pedal.
Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
Okay. First of all, he's lying. When he said Republicans want to cut Medicare and Medicaid, I told you this off the top of the show. What Donald Trump is going after are dead people getting Medicare and Medicaid. Okay? That is not you lose your benefits. That is not I lose my benefits. That is people who died 50 years ago that shouldn't be getting benefits. Stop getting the benefits.
Bingo, man. Bingo.
Okay, Republicans are not on the run on this issue. It is an 80-20 issue. 80% of the public wants the waste, fraud, and abuse out of our government. So when Hakeem Jeffries gets on a show and goes, oh, it's going great. No, the Republicans are on the run. Medicare, we got them. Bad. The economy, no, we got them. You don't understand, we got them. But no one believes him is the point I'm trying to make. And this is where you see the precarious place the Democrats find themselves in, is so much of their grip on power hinges on the media's ability and their ability to maintain a grip on the information you consume. Okay, if we're having honest conversations, nobody in their right mind thinks the Democrats have anybody on the run. They're polling at 21%. Hamas is at like 28% right now, comparative to the Democratic Party. I mean, Hamas is at like 60% at, Ivy League universities. You go up to Columbia, you go up to Harvard. Oh, my goodness. But the point is, this is a confidence scheme because they're so concerned with admitting they're doing something wrong that they'd rather just try and lie and convince you that they're doing something right. But what they don't understand is it does more damage to them. That's why, like last week, everybody was apoplectic that Jake Tapper was writing a book about the cover-up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Okay, number one, he was fighting as hard as anybody to cover it up. But number two, it's the lack of self-awareness in that they don't realize the cover-up didn't work. Nobody believed the guy was okay. They just continued to lie to our faces and get laughed at. And that's where they find themselves now. Okay, you can tell me the Republicans are on the run, and maybe some of them are if they got a Fitbit for Christmas and they're trying to work out at the gym. But as it pertains to running from the Democrats, I mean, come on, man.
You're an idiot.
Jimmy Fallon. He's got great charisma. Yeah. He's always dressed fantastic. He has what I call it.
This is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
This is WHIO Sean Hannity, Dayton's News and Talk, WHIO.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma. Hello, I am Jeff Bardonero, President for KeyBank in Dayton. We all believe in providing a helping hand in our communities, but while helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank can be even better. We are a bank that's committed to solving people's financial needs, but it just doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank, regardless of circumstance, that is always ready to meet you in the moment. KeyBank, a relationship you can bank on.
My Skyline order has always been the same. 3 cheese conies, no onion, no mustard. But the other day, a friend got me to try one with everything on it. It was amazing. That little dash of mustard and the snap of those diced onions just blew me away. I didn't know what I was missing. From now on, when I go to Skyline, it's 3 cheese conies all the way, with a side of chili cheese fries. How do you like your Skyline conies? Feeling good. It's Skyline time.
Hey, it's Nancy for my friends and family at Square One Salon. The 4-corner focus at Square One drives them in everything they do. And the gift of experience is the best gift of all. It always fits, never expires, and is always in demand. From hair, massages, manicures, makeup, to giving back to our community, Square One believes we all have a permanent place as a member in their family. I know I do. Visit squareonesalon.com. We are Square One.
Tuesday calls for an increase in cloud cover, but otherwise plenty of spring sunshine and temperatures above average with highs in the upper 60s. I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn for WHIO.
Across America with Jimmy Fallon. Texas Representative Wesley Hunt coming up in the next hour. Brooks Singman's going to be here as well. We got so much to get into in terms of what is happening in the world of politics and the country as a whole. It's so funny. What the Democrats are trying to do, and this will be a little bit of a focus in the next hour, is, there's not a leader right now. There's nobody that you look to and go like, who's in charge here? It's a bunch of just, fat screaming children throwing temper tantrums and filming viral dance videos that are going viral for the wrong reason. But the thing we're going to talk about in the next hour, which is fascinating, is the media trying to protect the Democratic Party in the interim and why those efforts happen to be failing against the Trump man. We'll talk about it with Wesley Hunt next on Fox Across America.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Maximize your tax refund with big savings at Fat Boys. From lift kits to lowering kits, custom wheels or tires, we offer a variety of services to enhance your ride. Call 937-294-2699 to learn more. Financing available.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
If you're in college, or let's say you have a kid who's in college or going soon, I want to tell you the hottest thing right now is to go in a college program where you work, not just wherever, but you work in jobs that are in the field of what you're studying, and it lets you stand above the crowd. This is the #1 way for someone to take a college degree and be successful with it after graduating from college. College is so expensive, it's better actually to stretch college to get that degree to 5 or 6 years working while in school so that when you graduate, you not only have the credential, but you also have experience in the field you want to work in.
Clark is WHIO's consumer warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's morning news on WHIO. WHIO is Dayton's #1 weather station. You'll hear the severe weather updates several times an hour, led by meteorologist Austin Cheney. WHIO. WHIO. Dayton Springfield, celebrating our 90th year as the Miami Valley's leading news station.
I'm Will Harris. Our top local story. A man accused of shooting another man in Xenia over the weekend. Cops say 55-year-old Todd Bethel got into an argument with the victim in a field near his apartment complex off Deer Creek Drive on Sunday morning. Now, officers say Bethel fired a shot at the other man and missed. 2 adults and 2 children are hurt after a possible explosion in Cincinnati on Sunday night. Firefighters found one person lying in the front yard of the home with the right side of the house completely gone. 2 children and 1 adult suffered minor injuries. The second adult faces serious injuries. We're working to figure out how they are doing. Clear and cool tonight. 70-degree weather likely by late week. The next system for showers and storms will be on Saturday, and we'll keep an eye on that for you. The Storm Center 7 forecast is coming up. The company behind Big Boy Restaurant Group is opening 2 new restaurants in the Cincinnati area at former Big Boy locations.
Dolly's Burgers and Shakes is now open in Blue Ash, and another location opens Tuesday in Anderson Township. The company wanted to name the locations after Big Boy, but Frisch's blocked it, claiming it infringes on its territory and branding.
WHIO's Ron Otto.
This is WHIO Continuing News.
A total lunar eclipse will turn the moon coppery red the evening of Thursday and early Friday morning. The best views across North and South America. A lunar eclipse happens when the sun, earth, and moon line up in just the right configuration, making it look red and giving the spectacle its nickname, the blood moon. It'll be visible everywhere for about an hour, starting at 2:26 a.m. Eastern Friday morning, with peak viewing close to 3 a.m. Our next scheduled news in 30 minutes, and immediately when it breaks. I'm Will Harris on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO. Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
Tuesday calls for an increase in cloud cover, but otherwise plenty of spring sunshine and temperatures above average with highs in the upper 60s. I'm weather specialist Nick Dunn for WHIO.
This is the Miami Valley's home for Fox News, the most powerful name in news. WHIO.
You know when you said come over for the fight? We thought you meant your house.
You guys want another round of Bud Lights?
Service is better here. And so is the beer.
Bud Light is back as the official beer sponsor of UFC. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey there, it's Nancy with my longtime friend Josh. He's one of the owners of Square One Salon, where the four-corner focus is truly the heartbeat.
Well, Square One, really, our focus is on family. From the time you come through that door to the time you leave, you're part of what all of us are doing together. It may be the manicurist, it may be the stylist, it may be the manager on duty, but we're all interested in what you're interested in, and that is, having a great experience at Square One.
Visit squareonesalon.com. We are Square One.
At the original 5-Star Plumbing Company, we're family owned and operated, which means we understand plumbing and family dynamics.
You clogged the toilet! I thought it was the goldfish.
Whether it's a fishy situation or a leaky pipe, we're here to help. Since 1997, our mission has been to offer the community a better, more affordable plumbing option. When family plumbing emergencies strike, the original 5-Star Plumbing Company has the experience to handle it. Call us today at 937-902-6195.
Maximize your tax refund with big savings at Fat Boys. From lift kits to lowering kits, custom wheels or tires, we offer a variety of services to enhance your ride. Call 937-294-2699 to learn more. Financing available.
For Good News in Dayton, this is Joe Eckley with Day Air Credit Union. Kettering Cities of Service is making a big impact by turning compassion into action. Kettering Cities of Service focuses on uniting volunteers and community resources to tackle key challenges and improve quality of life for everyone in the city. This program connects residents with opportunities to make a difference, whether it's through helping neighbors in need, supporting local organizations, or even participating in environmental projects like tree planting and park cleanups. By empowering residents to take an active role in their community, Kettering Cities of Service reminds us that together, we can build a better, stronger community. And to all the volunteers and supporters of Kettering Cities of Service, thank you. You're good news for Dayton.
Good News in Dayton is sponsored by Grunder Landscaping, Day Air Credit Union, and Wagner Paving. For more information, visit goodnewsindayton.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. This is WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk.
This is a Consumer Warrior Clark Howard Minute.
Okay, there's a weird thing I got to share with you. You know how when you pull a credit card out of your wallet, it'll have a number on it. Well, do you know that next time you get a renewal of your card, it may not have any numbers on it at all? And the reason is that credit card companies are trying to stamp out so much fraud. And there are now electronically embedded numbers inside a card. And that's enough. On your statement, stuff you have from your credit card company will have your actual number available to you, but more and more you're going to find that the number you're going to be using will be tokenized, kind of like what happens if you use Apple Pay or Google Wallet, where it generates a randomized number every time you use that particular card. That's the system we're going to for all credit card transactions.
Clark is WHIO's Consumer Warrior, and you can hear him during Miami Valley's Morning News on WHIO.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
If news breaks, we break in anytime. Now, back to America's most powerful talk lineup. This is WHIO.
From everywhere USA, it's Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy, back in action, big hour. Coming your way with your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon on Fox Across America. We're bringing by Wesley Hunt, superstar representative from the great state of Texas. He's been whizzing around the world on Air Force One, helping the country probably, staring at Melania mostly, knowing Wesley Hunt.
Hubba, hubba.
Hunt's a good guy, and he's going to take us inside the media's attempt to hold President Trump's feet to the fire on Ukraine. Unfortunately, it has been a bit of a losing effort, because Ukraine is not the top priority with the American people right now. You know what the top priority of the American people is right now? Are you ready for it? It's the American people. They're tired of having a Washington government that puts them last. That's why they, are thrilled that Trump is securing the southern border. That's why they're thrilled that we're trying to negotiate an off-ramp to this Ukraine war. Okay, it doesn't benefit us to be sending $350 billion to the other side of the world, just to end a war that shouldn't have started in the first place. Okay, and with so many problems here at home, most folks are not turning against Donald Trump because he wants to end the bloodshed. Most folks find that endearing, especially because that bloodshed comes with an economic bloodshed here at home. So we'll get into it in this hour. The Doge cuts are playing out in real time. Twitter is down, so people are going to have to do something with their lives. We'll get into that. And, calls, texts, tweets, the whole barnyard jamboree, it's all going down. But here is Trump, and I just found this to be so funny. Okay, Donald Trump was flying back yesterday and did a gaggle on Air Force One. Okay, he was taking questions. He was on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. Then he was being asked about the Ukraine situation. Okay, here he is, baited by a reporter. And I'm going to show you this, because this is the difference between Trump the first time around and Trump now. Okay, is Trump used to answer any question you asked him. And he would often answer questions he didn't have to answer. And he would often talk as if he had a long, thought-out answer, even if he didn't. Okay? He would do something in television we call talking to talk. Sometimes when you're on live TV, someone will open their mouth, and it's pretty apparent that they don't know what they're going to say yet. So as the sentence rambles on, they try to find a point and make it sound like this was one whole cohesive thought when it wasn't. Someone has coached Trump. I don't know if he's wiser with age or if it's Susie Wiles who's just made him more disciplined, but he now knows to shut down things that he doesn't need to dignify with a long, extended answer, when the whole premise of the question was to make him look bad in the way it was asked. I wanted to highlight this, and then we'll get into the substance of the issue, because this is a president actually demonstrating growth in terms of how he handles the media. So a reporter from the Washington Post is about to ask him if Putin's disrespecting him. Okay, and that line of questioning is there to create the narrative that he is. Okay, that's the point.